pain, palpitation, syncope, cyanosis, orthopnea. There is no history of edema of feet, abdominal pain, or distension in the right upper quadrant, or nausea
Viraj,
or vomit.
One second,
Yes.
Viraj, 1 second.
Yes.
What would be the cause? Tell me the cause of chest pain which are non-atherosclerotic, not related to the coronary vasculature.
Chest pain.
Cardiac causes of chest pain. Cardiac cause of chest pain where there is.
It can be because of involvement. It can be because of involvement of the pericardium. So it can be seen in acute pericarditis. Pain can also occur in case of pericardial effusion.
Pericardial effusion, constrictive effusive pericarditis. Okay, then?
Yeah. Ischemic heart disease of the myocardium.
No, that is we have. I want other causes.
Other than that,
apart from ISD.
It can occur even in pulmonary thromboembolism.
Yes.
Chest pain.
Aortic dissection.
Yes, sir. Aortic dissection.
Aortic dissection. Okay. Any other cause? Aortic stenosis, especially in bicuspid aortic valve. You can have anomalies of the coronary vasculature, but in aortic stenosis, you can get a non-atherosclerotic type of chest pain.
Okay.
Continue.
Yes.
Continue.
Should I continue from where I left or again from the negative?
No, from the chest pain. Chest pain, you continue.
There is no history of chest pain. There is no history of palpitation. Syncope, cyanosis, orthopnea.
Okay. Why did you ask for cyanosis in a patient of 23-year-old?
So, it could have been. It's very rare, but like it could have been something congenital like atrial septal defect, which could have undergone Eisenmengerization and could then present with cyanosis. And even the history can be suggestive of atrial septal defect because there is repeated episodes of breathlessness and cough.
Even ventricular septal defect also, you can go into Eisenmengerization.
Yeah, sir, but in 26 years old, I don't suspect ventricular septal defect. It would more likely occur at 8 months, or more likely manifest at 8 weeks itself, 6 to 8 weeks, and within the school, before going to the school, it would.
Okay, so but if you have very small VSD, Viraj, if you have very small VSD, which is of muscular type, patients, we do get patients in the ward where they have VSD, which is very small.
Okay.
And they can present with Eisenmengerization and then cyanosis. Okay, continue.
Yes. There is no history of edema of feet, abdominal pain, or distension in the right upper quadrant, or nausea or vomiting. There is no history of hoarseness of voice or dysphagia. There is no history of any long-standing fever with petechial hemorrhages or painful fingertips of history. Yes, sir.
What is Ortner syndrome? Ortner
syndrome occurs in mitral stenosis when there is enlargement of the left atrium which compresses upon the left recurrent laryngeal nerve, causing hoarseness of voice.
Okay. Why you get paralysis in mitral stenosis?
Because the left atrium will enlarge posteriorly.
And what it will do?
It will compress upon the left recurrent laryngeal nerve.
No. I am asking about paraparesis now. Paraparesis.
Mitral stenosis. Along with mitral stenosis, we can get if palpitations would have been present, I could have suspected about atrial fibrillation, and atrial fibrillation would have given rise to thromboembolic phenomenon, and that could have result in hemiparesis. So just rule out it as a complication.
Paraparesis. See, sometimes the left atria can erode the vertebra also and can damage your spinal cord. Apart from that, as you said, atrial fibrillation will cause thromboembolic phenomenon, and therefore you will have paraparesis. That is your anterior cord syndrome. Or sometimes, if you have infective endocarditis also in mitral stenosis, then it can cause an embolic phenomenon and cause an anterior cord syndrome. Okay?
Yes.
Continue.
There is no history of long-standing fever with petechial hemorrhages or painful fingertips or history of any cola-colored urine or hemiparesis. However, there is history of fever with fleeting joint pain and swellings at about 10 years of age, along with history of taking Penidura injections up to the age of 20 years.
Okay. Okay. My question is, Viraj,
Yes, sir.
if you have an episode of sore throat,
Yes, sir.
if you have an episode of sore throat, what is the chance you can get a rheumatic fever? What is the percentage chance you can develop a rheumatic fever?
0.003%.
Okay. And in India, it could be 0.3% also. It can go up to 0.3%.
Okay.
You have a history of rheumatic fever. What is the chance you can get rheumatic heart disease?
Sir, I don't know that percentage.
There is a 50 to 60% chance. Once you have an attack of rheumatic fever, there is a 50 or 60% chance you can get rheumatic heart disease. Okay.
Okay.
So my other question is, what time it takes for the rheumatic fever to go into rheumatic heart disease, to develop rheumatic heart disease?
It should take about 10 to 15 years.
Yeah, 15 years, but in India we have seen less than 1 year also. So if you have a history of rheumatic fever within 1 year, you can have pathological changes in the cardiac walls which become thickened and they become rheumatic heart disease. Okay.
Okay.
Continue.
In the childhood, she does not have any history of any cyanotic spells or squatting episodes. And there is no history of exposure to venereal disease. Yes.
Viraj, in childhood, she never had cyanotic spells. Can you give me some examples of congenital heart disease and the syndromes?
The associated cardiac anomaly.
Associated syndromes.
In Turner's. Yes, sir. In Turner syndrome, I expect ASD, VSD. In congenital rubella syndrome, I expect.
Turner syndrome, you expect? You expect ASD,
VSD, cushion defect.
Okay, rather than in Turner, what is more common? Aortic root dilation.
Okay. Yes.
Then what you get in Down
syndrome, ASD, VSD.
Okay. Then any other
in
example?
Case of Noonan syndrome, I expect pulmonary stenosis.
Yes. Then
in case of Williams syndrome, I expect aortic stenosis.
Yes. Then
in case of
can you tell me the components of Williams syndrome? Tell me the components of Williams syndrome.
Sir, I don't remember.
Yeah. Supravalvular aortic stenosis. Sensory neural deafness. Then hypercalcemia. And elephantiasis. Okay.
Yes.
Any more examples you can give of syndromes and congenital heart disease?
We can have skeletal anomalies which can be associated with same. We can have TAR syndrome. We can have Holt-Oram syndrome.
Yes. Holt-Oram में क्या common रहता है? What is common in Holt-Oram?
There is absence of the thumb and there
radius
there is absence of thumb.
Okay. And you can get a triradiate thumb also. Thumb with 3 phalanges. And it is associated with valvular heart disease, congenital. ASD.
And TAR is associated with VSD.
Pardon?
TAR is associated with VSD.
Okay. TAR is more associated with coarctation. VSD also you can get, but you can get coarctation more. Okay. And any other?
Lutembacher syndrome, sir, as you said just.
ASD with?
ASD with mitral stenosis.
Yes, that is Lutembacher's. Okay, good. Continue.
Okay. And there is no history of any exposure to venereal diseases. So how to ask this history very in patient's language?
You want to ask about venereal disease in what context?
Yeah, I want to rule out cardiovascular syphilis.
Syphilis. Okay. So you can ask for any, but generally you'll have to have a staff with you, a sister with you, and in front of her you can ask the female patient whether she has any history of genital ulcerations or
Okay.
any lesions of the skin.
Okay.
Whether it's a primary or secondary.
Okay.
But preferably avoid it if there is no sister along with you.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay. Because the patient won't be cooperative afterwards when you start examining a female patient.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sure.
Yes, sir. There is no
Continue.
history of diabetes mellitus, hypertension, tuberculosis, asthma, seizures, or dyslipidemia. The patient was examined 1 year back and was prescribed tablet Dixin once a day for 3 months, and after that she stopped taking same. Currently, she is not on any other medication. Family history is not significant. There is no history of any sudden cardiac death, atherosclerotic vascular disease, dyslipidemia among the family members. She has normal.
Now, Viraj, one
Yes,
second. What are the causes? Give me a few examples of causes of sudden cardiac death.
Sudden cardiac death, Hockham. Then
preferably in exams, yes. Use full complete. Don't use abbreviations.
Yes. Hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy, which is most common cause. Second most common cause for sudden cardiac death is most common cause is Brugada syndrome.
Pardon? Brugada syndrome. Okay, then. Yes. Then long QT syndromes.
Romano, the potassium channel associated ones.
Yeah, Romano Watts.
Romano Watts, Nielsen
Romano Watts. Yes. Okay. Continue.
Yeah. She has normal sleep, bladder and bowel habits. Consumes a mixed diet. There is no history of any tobacco chewing, smoking, or alcohol consumption. There is no history of allergies. She is married and she has one child, which is
Viraj, one second, Viraj. Give me an example where there is cardiomyopathy and dietary deficiency.
Cardiomyopathy with
dietary deficiency. It is very simple. Beriberi. Beriberi. Any other? Cardiomyopathy and dietary deficiency. Trace element. Keshan's disease.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Keshan's disease. Okay. Continue. Alcohol also. You forgot alcohol also. Alcoholic cardiomyopathy. Alcoholic cardiomyopathy.
In the different. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Continue.
She is married and she has one child who is of 4 years old, and the pregnancy was uneventful, and she is having a normal menstrual history. She belongs to lower middle socioeconomic status as per modified Kupuswamy classification. So to summarize up, we have a 26 years old lady who is a known case of rheumatic fever and had taken penicillin prophylaxis for 10 years, and who presents with dyspnea since 2 years, cough with expectoration since 1 month, and 2 episodes of paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea in the last 1 week, which was without orthopnea, wheeze, chest pain, palpitations, syncope, cyanosis, is likely to have an acquired left-sided pressure overload due to mitral valve pathology, most likely to be mitral valve stenosis of rheumatic origin with complications like PND. I would also like to consider atrial septal defect, left atrial myxoma, left atrial thrombus, anemia, and Lutembacher syndrome as my differentials.
No, you said left atrial myxoma. So what will be classical of left atrial myxoma?
There will be breathlessness in sitting position.
Yes. Why you get breathlessness in sitting position?
Because only on sitting position it will occlude up the myxoma.
Yeah, because of the gravity, it will block the.
Yeah, it will block the blood
mitral stenosis. mitral annulus, it will block the mitral opening on
Yes,
synthetic
sir.
position, while in supine position it will not occlude, and therefore
Yes,
you get
sir.
orthodeoxy. Okay.
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 Yes, sir.
Then second differential what you gave? One was myxoma. Second what you gave differential?
Left atrial thrombus. Left atrial thrombus, sir.
Left atrial thrombus. But what
Yes,
should be
sir.
the risk factors? No?
Mitral stenosis can, here this
But
is
what
not
should be the risk
palpitation.
factors? No?
Yes, sir. Hello. Yes, sir.
Bolo.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Speak.
Sir, I did not get your
You
question.
can speak. You can
Sir,
continue. My question is, why did you say left atrial thrombus?
We can get a thrombus phenomenon in case of because of the hemodynamic changes which would occur following mitral stenosis also, or maybe because of some other
that is
arrhythmia.
A sequelae or complication of mitral. No,
Yes,
that is a sequelae or complication of mitral stenosis. So
yes,
in
sir.
your when you talk about your provisional diagnosis, don't give so much of differential.
Okay.
Keep one or two differential only.
Okay.
So
Okay.
your first differential would be a left side, that is valvular stenotic lesion.
Yes, sir. That is my first one. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
And your second differential, what you want to put?
Costal space 1 centimeter lateral to the midclavicular line. So it suggests that there is more likely to be a right ventricular volume overload, or there is right ventricular enlargement. It would suggest right ventricular enlargement.
Why you say it is tapping? Why you say it is tapping?
Yeah, it is of because the finger does not get uplifted, but the taps can be felt on the finger.
Okay. How you define it? How you define the tapping apex speed?
Sir, no, I don't know exact definition.
It is ill-sustained and not forceful. You got it?
Yes, sir.
It is ill-sustained and it is not forceful. That is tapping. Okay. How do you define hyperdynamic apex speed?
Hyperdynamic apex speed would be forceful and also sustained.
Ill-sustained.
Okay.
While heaving apex beat is?
Both.
Forceful
both
and
sustained as well as powerful.
Forceful. Okay. So your tapping apex beat, why you get tapping apex beat?
Hello.
Why you get tapping apex beat? What is the pathophysiology of tapping apex beat?
I don't know.
Okay, because of mitral stenosis, the left ventricle is underfilled.
Yes.
And therefore, during the systole, it gets uplifted. It will move up and it will tap on your finger. Why? Okay. Because it is not completely filled. It is underfilled.
Okay.
So in mild, you will get tapping apex beat in mild, moderate, or severe mitral stenosis.
Moderate to severe?
Yes. In mild mitral stenosis, the ventricles are properly filled. The LV is properly filled. So you won't get a proper tapping apex beat, classical.
Yes.
But if in severe MS or in moderate MS also, you will get a tapping apex beat. Okay. Then your second palpatory finding was?
Sir, but if the left ventricular is not completely filled, like if it would have it been filled, then I did not understand the reason properly.
No, see, when you say it is a critical mitral stenosis, what is a mitral wall area?
Less than 1 meter square.
1 centimeter square.
Sorry. Less than 1 centimeter square. Sorry.
1 meter.
1 to 1.5. So very sorry. 1 to 1.5 would be moderate, and 1.5 to 2 will be mild.
2.5.
Okay.
1.5 to 2.5.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and normal mitral wall area is
4 to 6.
4 to 6 centimeters square. Yeah. 4 to 6 centimeters
Centimeter
square.
square.
So the thing is, if you have a severe or a moderate mitral stenosis, there is more blood in the LA compared to your LV at the end of
Yes.
your diastole.
Yes, sir.
Because of the mitral stenosis, less flow is going from the LA into the LV, and therefore
Yes,
the LV is less filled.
Yes, sir.
Anything which is light can jump up. A fat person cannot jump. You are a
Yes.
light person, so you can jump. Similarly,
Yes.
happens with LV. The LV is underfilled with blood,
Okay.
and
Yes,
therefore it will jump up and it will
sir,
touch your chest wall.
Yes,
So
sir.
if it was fully filled, if it was completely filled, then it won't rise up.
Yes, okay, sir. Yes, sir. Understood. Thank you.
And the patient is in supine position. You are examining the patient in supine position. Remember that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So your next palpatory finding is?
Left parasternal heave, which is of grade 2.
Okay. So why you feel there is a heave?
It can be because of right ventricular pulsations.
Pulsation, hypertrophy.
Hypertrophy, sorry. Right ventricular hypertrophy, which would have been palpated as a left parasternal heave.
Or
pulmonary
any other cause?
Pulmonary hypertension, which would have been given.
No.
But not in the left
in your you're getting a left parasternal heave.
Yes,
is it right?
Sir.
So you're saying it is because of right ventricular hypertrophy. Hello?
Yes, right ventricular hypertrophy.
Because right ventricular, but any other cause apart from right ventricular hypertrophy which will cause a parasternal heave?
Hello?
Any other cause apart from RV hypertrophy? Hello?
Sir, I don't know about the other causes.
Other causes LA enlargement. Left atrial enlargement.
But in the left parasternal region, LA.
Listen now. Left LA enlargement will shift the RV above. Okay. It will push the RV above, and therefore you will feel the heave. Okay. So the cause of heave could be either a right ventricular enlargement or it is a left atrial enlargement. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So
should I move next finding?
The grades of heave. Yeah. What are the grades of heaving?
There are 3 grades of heave. Grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. Grade 1 is visible. Grade 2 is palpable but non-obliterable. Grade 3 is palpable as well as obliterable.
Grade 2 is listen. Grade 2 is visible, palpable, non-obliterable.
Non-obliterable.
Obliterable.
Okay, sorry.
And grade 3 is visible, palpable and non-obliterable.
Okay, sir.
So again I repeat. Grade 1 is visible. Yes. Grade 2 is visible, palpable, obliterable.
Okay, sir. Grade
3 is visible, palpable, non-obliterable. When you say non-obliterable, matlab, it is such a the heave has such a force that will hit your hand. Okay. So which part of the hand you will use for palpating the heave, seeing the apical impulse?
There are 2 methods. For heave palpation, there are 2 methods. I can either use the ulnar border or I can either use the palm, the bottom
heel of the hand, the thenar eminence, the thenar or hypothenar eminence.
Yes, sir. Yes, and for epigastric, for the visible pulsations, I need to use my fingers, and for the thrill, I need to use metacarpophalangeal, the first
MCP.
Yeah.
Metacarpophalangeal joints. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Continue. Then what is the another finding of your palpation?
There is a palpable diastolic thrill over the apical area in the left lateral position.
Palpable thrill in the
apical area in left lateral position.
Oh.
It would be suggestive of a palpable murmur. Diastolic.
Okay. Now name few diastolic murmurs which will not produce a thrill.
any non-functional murmur would not be associated with a thrill, whereas so non-organic any functional murmur would not never be associated with a thrill. Whereas organic, only in case of organic murmur, a thrill may be possible or may not be possible.
No. Tell me the names. Where you have a diastolic murmur, which is grade 4, but there is no thrill. Sorry, not grade 4, grade 3, but no thrill is there.
Any diastolic murmur with...
You said functional murmurs or flow murmurs. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But
they will never be associated.
My question is, name the murmurs. What are name specific? I'll tell you example. Austin Flint murmur, will you get a thrill?
It is a low-pitched murmur, so yes, I expect a thrill.
No, you don't get a thrill in Austin Flint's. Carrie Combs murmur, you will get a thrill? Diastolic murmur?
No, sir, I don't know, sir. Would you please tell?
Okay. So the thing is, in Austin Flint's murmur, in Carrie Combs murmur, or in Graham Steele's murmur also, you won't get thrills.
Austin.
Okay, these are 2-3 murmurs where you don't get thrills.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Carrie Combs murmur is because of mitral valvulitis, rheumatic fever. Rheumatic fever induced mitral valvulitis. Okay, continue.
Yes, sir. So palpatory findings, or those were the palpatory findings.
Okay. Any other palpatory finding you got?
Epigastric pulsations.
You said about foreign sounds. Hello, you said about foreign sounds.
No, there were no. No, I did not mention about foreign. There were no other palpable. There were no other palpable sounds. There is epigastric pulsation.
So what foreign sounds are palpable?
Pericardial rub.
Yes.
Or any other murmur which would present as a thrill.
Pardon?
Any additional murmur which would present as a thrill over that particular area may be palpable.
Okay. Well, see, one you said is pericardial rub. You can have a pleuropericardial rub also, which can be palpable. So in your case, you didn't get any palpable. Okay. Then you said about second heart sound. You said.
Yes, sir.
You talked about second heart sound. So diastolic shock you talked about? No.
No, sir. So would you please tell about...
So there's no diastolic shock also.
Sir, would you please tell about diastolic shock, sir? I don't know.
It is a palpable second heart sound, no?
Okay.
Palpable second heart sound.
Okay, so I did not know about that.
Okay.
I did not know about that one.
Okay. It is a loud P2. Loud P2 on auscultation, and it is palpable also. Occurs in pulmonary hypertension.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Any other? You said some visible pulsations.
Epigastric pulsations.
Epigastric pulsations, which are palpable.
Yes, sir. Which were palpable to the tip of the finger.
Okay. What is the cause of that?
It would suggest more likely to be because of the right ventricle. Had it been touching the pulp of the fingers, it would have been maybe because of the pulsatile liver, or maybe because of any aortic aneurysm.
Okay. What is the cause of pulsations of the liver, pulsatile liver? Which condition you get pulsatile liver?
I can get pulsatile liver in both tricuspid stenosis as well as tricuspid regurgitation. One would be systolic, the other would be diastolic. And it should be palpated with both the hands.
Okay. Continue.
Sir. Hello, sir. Sir, you are not audible. Hello, sir. Hello.
Continue.
Hello, sir. There is some connection issue. Hello.
Continue.
Yeah. Okay. On percussion, the left border of the left border of the heart lies 12 centimeter lateral to the mid-sternal line in the left fifth intercostal space. The right heart border is substernal. There is a dull note in the second left intercostal space.
Okay. What is the cause of that dull note in the second intercostal space?
It
Left
can be
second.
because of pulmonary hypertension, increased blood flow.
Okay, any other cause where you get a dull note on the left second intercostal space? Left atrial appendage or left
Sir, I
auricular enlargement. So left atrial appendage enlargement, left auricle enlargement.
Okay.
That is because of LA dilation and because of mitral stenosis.
Okay, sir.
You got it?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Then continue.
On auscultation over the mitral area, S1 is loud. Hello. Hello.
Continue.
Yeah.
Continue.
On auscultation over the mitral area, S1 is loud. On auscultation with the diaphragm, there is an opening snap which is present, just following the S2, and on auscultation with the bell in the left lateral position, there is a following the opening snap, there is a low pitch rumbling diastolic murmur with a presystolic accentuation, which is best heard at the apex and with the breath held in expiration.
Okay. With a breath held
which is suggestive of which is suggestive of mitral stenotic murmur.
Okay. How is S1?
S1 is loud, sir.
Loud. Why it is loud?
It is because there is increase in the because of the stenotic lesion is increased in the volume which is there in the left atrium. So it would be like if a door is more opened up, so that when it closes, it would create a larger sound.
No, it is your concept is right, but the thing is there is a wide excursion of leaflets. The leaflets have to travel
there is
wide.
thickening of the leaflet.
No.
Sir, would you please repeat?
Because the leaflets are far apart.
Yes.
And still the blood from LA is going into LV. And LV is now going in systole.
Yes.
Still the mitral wall is open, which shouldn't have been open. So the leaflets have to travel a long distance. So there's a wide excursion of the mitral wall leaflets. And that leads to a loud S1. It is like a door.
Okay, sir.
A door is partially open and you close the door, less sound. The door is fully opened and you close the door. There's a loud sound.
More.
Okay. So it's a wide excursion of the leaflets that produces this sound. Okay. Then second you talked about opening snap. So let us stick to first start sound. Let us first stick to first start sound. So in mitral stenosis, when the S1 is soft,
it can be because of a degenerated mitral valve. It can be in the case of a calcified mitral valve. If there is calcification, then I can get a soft S1 in case of mitral stenosis.
So any other? See, if there is a right ventricular enlargement and therefore it will shift the left ventricular posteriorly or more laterally. And therefore the whole precordium is covered by the right ventricle. And therefore you get a S1 would be soft because the left ventricle is more shifted laterally near the axilla.
Okay, sir.
So in the mitral area you will get a soft S1, though there will be a critical MS or there will be a severe MS.
Okay, sir.
Any other cause of soft S1? You said calcified, RV enlargement, RV enlargement, calcified mitral wall.
Degeneration of the mitral valve because of
degenerated mitral valve. Okay, any other cause where you will get a soft S1?
Sir?
If there is MR, mitral stenosis with mitral regurgitation.
Okay.
And where the mitral regurgitation is more dominant than mitral stenosis, you will get a soft S1.
Okay, yes sir.
Okay, continue. फिर क्या था आपका ओपनिंग स्नैप?
ओपनिंग स्नैप
Okay. So what is the relation of the opening snap?
The duration and the severity are inversely related. If the duration is more, then it is mild. If the duration goes on decreasing, then it suggests towards severity. About 80 to 120, 80 to 120 second would be would be considered as mild. About 40 to 80 would be considered as moderate. Anything less than that would suggest severity.
So you're talking about murmur or the opening snap?
The duration between the opening snap and the second heart sound.
A2. So A2OS interval. You're talking about A2OS interval, na? Hello?
Yes, sir. A2OS.
A2OS
Yes,
interval.
sir. Okay. Yes, sir.
So the lesser the A2OS interval, the more severe the mitral stenosis is.
More severe the mitral stenosis. Yes, sir.
So what is a normal A2OS interval?
More. Sir, there is no opening snap normal.
No, not normal, but what would be a A2OS interval?
More than 120 milliseconds.
It is from, I feel it is from 30 to 150 milliseconds. The more you come towards 30 A2OS interval, then it is more severe. If it is beyond 150 milliseconds, it is mild damage.
Very less. Okay, sir.
So any other diastolic sound you can hear?
Tumor plop. But in case of mitral stenosis, I don't expect.
Okay. But if it is not mitral stenosis,
there
so
can
what
be
could be the differential of opening snap? What could be differential?
Sir, would you please read the question?
What could be a differential of the opening snap?
Yeah. Sorry, I did not revise that.
It can be an S3 also, diastolic. It could be S4 also.
Sir, but in case of mitral stenosis,
you don't get S3. You will not get S3. Yes.
Yes.
Because if there is a S3, mitral stenosis is ruled out.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, what is the cause of S4? Why S4? S4 can occur in mitral stenosis?
No. S4 can never occur in mitral stenosis. For S4 to occur, there needs to be a non-stenotic lesion. There should be a proper atria contracting against a ventricle which is overfilled. So I expect S4 in case of regurgitant mitral regurgitation rather than mitral stenosis. In mitral stenosis, it will never be possible to get an S4.
Okay, but in mitral stenosis, the rule is S3 is definitely not there, but you may or may not get S4. S4 may or may not be there in mitral stenosis. S3 is definitely not there because the atria and ventricle are never a single chamber in mitral stenosis, so S3 is never there. But you can get an S4 in mitral stenosis, but it is very unlikely. Okay. Then what was your auscultatory finding?
The murmur.
Murmur. Okay. Now coming to the murmur, it is what type? It is a low pitch, mid diastolic murmur.
Yes, sir.
Mid diastolic with a pre-systolic accentuation.
Yes, sir.
So why you get pre-systolic accentuation?
Because the last accentuation is because of the contracting left during the atrial systole which occurs, which leads to that pre-systolic accentuation because it gives up to 20% to the cardiac output, 15 to 20%.
That is S4. So that is S4, no? The atria is contracting.
Hello.
Did you get me? The S4 is contracting forcefully and therefore you are getting a pre-systolic accentuation, no?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
There is some
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear
Hello,
me?
sir. There is some connection issue. Hello. Sir, would you please repeat it again? There was some connection issue.
See, you get S4 because of atrial contraction, and because of atrial contraction, you are having a pre-systolic accentuation of the murmur.
Yes, sir.
Barabar na?
Yes, sir.
So sir, it is S4. So S4 can occur in.
Sir, but if I say S4, then sir, there should be the ventricle should be there should not be a dilatation of the left ventricle, and at the same time there should be no stenosis also. There should be no obstruction to the pathway.
No, but we are not talking about very tight MS. It could be a mild, moderate also, or a severe MS.
Okay.
If you are getting a pre-systolic accentuation, it is because of atrial contraction only, and that could be an S4.
Okay, sir.
That's what my explanation is.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
understood.
Okay. So you have a murmur which is better heard in, why it is heard in more in left lateral position? Why not right lateral position?
The apex would get displaced more laterally.
Yeah. So because of that, the heart is more closer to the left chest wall, and therefore you can hear the murmur.
More better.
Yeah. So you take a left lateral position.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other?
Best heard with breath held during expiration.
Okay. Why you use the bell of stethoscope? Which
in any case, in any heart sound which would be of low pitch, we generally prefer the bell of the stethoscope. So I would prefer a bell of the stethoscope even in case of S3, S4, mitral stenosis, mitral regurgitation murmur, even in case of I don't remember properly, but Austin Flint murmur, Caricum murmur also we need to use the bell of the.
Yes, right. Okay, continue.
And there is a loud on auscultation over the pulmonary area. There is a loud P2.
Okay, so that tells patient.
So just a second, sir. Sorry, the grade of the murmur would be grade 4. I forgot to mention that.
Because you have a thrill.
Yes, sir.
Because you have a thrill. Okay. Then coming to your loud P2.
Yes, sir. Pulmonary hypertension, most likely.
Pulmonary hypertension.
Most likely because of pulmonary hypertension in this scenario, because of the back pressure.
Okay. Any other thing you want to mention?
No, auscultation.
Any other thing? Auscultation is over?
Yes, sir.
Any foreign sounds? Any foreign sounds?
No other any other foreign sounds or anything else.
Okay. Now, can you give a final diagnosis?
Okay, sir. So we have a 26 years old lady. Sir, in the final diagnosis, should I again start from history or just mention
just tell me your diagnosis. No, just tell me your diagnosis.
Rheumatic heart disease with mitral stenosis. With
yes.
Sir. Hello. Yeah, I suspect mitral stenosis because of a rheumatic heart disease etiology, which is complicated along with pulmonary stenosis, pulmonary hypertension, and right ventricular hypertrophy. But there are no signs suggestive of congestive. Hello.
So why you said pulmonary stenosis?
There is a loud P2. Hello. Yes, sir. Hello. There is some connection issue. Hello.
Why you said pulmonary stenosis?
Loud P2 because of pulmonary hypertension. It could be associated with pulmonary stenosis.
Hello. No.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Pulmonary hypertension, no pulmonary stenosis.
Okay, sir. Fine.
There is no pulmonary stenosis. No, it is pulmonary hypertension.
Okay, yes, sir.
So I'll tell you a final diagnosis would be a case of mitral stenosis, which is severe mitral stenosis due to rheumatic heart disease with pulmonary hypertension in cardiac failure. Yes or no?
No, sir, but there is no congestive cardiac failure signs like edema. There is enlarged JVP, but there are no other signs of.
No, but the patient you are saying has episodes of PND, so it means in cardiac failure. With not in infective endocarditis or no signs of infective endocarditis.
Acute, yes, sir, and also no acute rheumatic episode.
Infective endocarditis. And no cardioembolic phenomena.
Yes, sir, as with a sinus rhythm.
Okay. So again, tell your diagnosis.
Okay. So the patient is likely to have mitral stenosis, which is of
Likely
rheumatic
नहीं,
heart
अभी तो
disease.
final diagnosis ना.
हाँ.
Listen,
Okay.
there's no
Yes, sir.
likely thing. Straightforward.
Okay.
Huh.
Okay, sir. The patient has mitral stenosis, which is likely to be of rheumatic origin, along with pulmonary hypertension, right ventricular hypertrophy, and congestive cardiac failure signs, which with the normal sinus rhythm and without any lesion suggestive of infective endocarditis or any acute rheumatic episode.
Or any cardioembolic phenomenon.
Hello. Yeah. Yes. Sir. Okay.
Embolic phenomenon. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it was a good case, and it was a good presentation also. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So next time we will do a mitral regurgitation.
Sir, should we complete like investigation as well as the treatment part?
Presently now there is some urgent call for me.
Okay.
So I have to go. So
Okay, sir.
might be next time we'll start with. But next time we'll start with mitral regurgitation, and that time we'll complete your investigation and all that.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
So mitral regurgitation also case is ready.
But I'll not
Hello?
be taking it tomorrow. Day after tomorrow, I'll be taking.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
I'll convey to Tanmay.
Tanmay.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. So I'll close.